So, 2022, this was a year. I say this for the most part because it's been shockingly normal by comparison to a lot of the previous years in the 2020s, more akin to the 2000s and 2010s. With the last 2 years of the 2020s mostly being in panic mode, it's very good to finally have a normal year. Well, mostly normal. And I don't mean not normal in the previous 2 year sense, but more in the positive sense, mostly because of my personal growth. Not only did I make a deeper connection with some of the mutuals I made over the year, sorry other mutuals, I really want to get to you soon, but I don't really have much room sometimes. And I hit an important milestone in my life, that being my high school graduation. I never thought I'd be saying this outside the school system, considering I've been doing this in the school system for so long that being out of it is a very strange feeling, but it's pretty good nonetheless. And now I'm also in college too, so I have some other responsibilities that I didn't have previously. Not the arbitrary ones that the school system offers, but instead stuff that actually feels like it matters at the end of the day. This positive growth really carried me this year, as otherwise this year's been strangely average. What I mean is that there is no real social media debacles I really got in, nor were there any that were particularly memorable. The closest thing this year has to be my website. Something which I teased long ago, but now I finally launched. It's something that I'm pretty proud of and the biggest internet achievement of this year. Diving my toes into something I feel is pretty different from both art and video making. Despite that, however, I still really enjoy making my website, and I think it's a pretty fun thing to work on. Now, while I don't think I'll have as equal of passion as my art or my video making skills, I still think the website coding is still something I'll probably do on the side. Something which I think will tide people over between major releases of mine. And I'm very glad that this positive thing managed to overtake a lot of the negatives. And while there was nothing really that negative this year, especially in comparison to the previous 2 years, considering those have been filled with pandemic brain fog, there's still a few things here and there which I really didn't like. For one thing, an ex-package fandom member went Joker mode over things that were generally problematic to us. While we originally just kicked them out, gave them a slap on the wrist, and just let them go from there, they went full-on insanity mode after that and went after other rivals of other members. This spite led to a lot of other personal information being revealed as well, which generally was pretty disgusting, and it expanded the drama to the point where we needed a Google Drive for it. But now it seems like the drama is officially over, and now we can rest in peace knowing that we succeeded in winning. If you want to know more about the situation, it's genuinely complicated. There's a video out there which includes one of my testimonies in there, and I also think you could DM us if you really want more about the situation, but let's just say it's a pretty personal situation to a lot of the people involved. Especially since a lot of the information was exclusive to Discord, and it was a pretty petty rivalry all around. There was also this one post in October which was a major mistake of mine. The post involved John Bob, and while it was a good argument, the example I used was super horrible, and I genuinely think it was the worst thing I ever really posted on the internet. And that's saying something. While I still really do hate Oh the Sunny Side by a major margin, I still don't think the thing I did was even close to correct. I wish I would have used something different for an example, because I really think we could have won the argument if I used an example that wasn't so egregiously horrible. The only other thing that was notable about the mistake post is that it did lead to something else which was so entangled in Discord drama and ex-mutuals that it was basically not worth it to mention it, considering I really think no one's going to understand the context unless you are part of our friend group. Now, the user getting kicked out and the mistake post were more so just things that were footnotes throughout the year, rather than something I would really say was particularly memorable, like the website. I mostly mentioned the user kicking out thing because it basically took up half the year on the side of other things as well, so that's important to mention. I also mentioned the mistake as well, since I honestly have to mention that I have some weaknesses occasionally. I mean, this is a retrospective after all, and I cannot mention it without mentioning my mistakes as well. For as much as I portray my critiques as epic showdowns where I'm the badass, I am not really a badass call-out guy. I just mention the things I like and dislike about users, and that's pretty much it. Even I'm prone to making mistakes too, and I'm not free from criticism either, so if you want to criticize my art or video making, well, you can do so. That's all I really want to mention there, and, well, the other thing I could potentially mention is AI art, which was almost getting into NFT levels, but thanks to Chip showing us the greatness of AI art and actually showing the bad side of AI art haters, and also combine that with a lot less pandemic brain fog, we thankfully avoided another situation just like the NFT one. And thank goodness the hate died in less than a month, because I would not want to go into 2023 with this as our starting point, you know? And besides, we should be starting the year more positive. If you want to throw pity party tantrums about this year being horrible, at least wait till March. But yeah, that's all I really had to mention on the real life side. While I did experience very few negatives, nothing was really that bad. And I still came back with a lot more net positives than negatives, so that's pretty good. Speaking of that though, now we have to talk about the sparse videos I made. While I did want a third video to come out to complete the lineup, that sadly missed the 2022 deadline, which, well, to be fair, a lot of my project progress was at home and I was mostly stuck at college, but at the same time, man, did I really miss that one. I really hope I don't miss a deadline like that ever again, because I really do want to get videos out for you guys and I don't want to forget y'all. But on the positive side though, it did allow me to get more breathing room for ideas for 2023. But let's not get sidetracked by that and talk about the two videos I did make this year. First, we have the Trollsome and Wogglebug double pack, which really was a video I wanted to get out in February, but that ended up getting delayed due to a vacation and didn't come out until April. Yeah, it was pretty much late. It seems like that was a theme for 2022 in terms of videos. But in terms of the video quality itself, well, I think the points themselves are pretty good, and I still do agree with what my stances are, but the big issue is that I feel like my anger was very forced. Like, I usually convey genuine emotion in my stuff, but I feel like I was becoming too nice to my targets. Which was a good criticism, but instead of becoming more genuine in my emotions, I just hammed up my anger, and I basically came off as a major tryhard. The worst example of this was being overly defensive over a person who would eventually abandon us and betray us. And while I do recall they were falling off around this time, they weren't hitting the lows they were hitting now. And this is where I really found the tryhard attitude to be its absolute worst, because I really feel like the over defensiveness of them aged so poorly to the point where it kind of makes the video cringy to look back in retrospect. Of course, I still consider this video a very good video. I mean, kind of around 6 out of 10 for my standards, but I still consider that pretty weak. Also, I kind of feel like in retrospect I released the video a bit too soon for Trollsome. I mean, Trollsome will later on have one of the biggest fuck-ups in his entire career, and honestly, it was particularly funny seeing how he tried to get his reputation back in order, but everyone could see past him, and now his reputation is not only permanently ruined, but his engines have gotten taken away, and he needs his parents' permission to do anything on the internet. And while he's still a Coomer on the loose, well, it seems like his reputation's ruined to the point where no one's really gonna become a fan of him at this point, nor is he ever gonna, groom someone. But now that we got that out of the way, let's get to the project that actually did come out on time, albeit almost barely. That being the Spacey Retrospective, and honestly, I think it's one of the best videos I ever made, and I'm definitely proud of it. In terms of going through my legacy, I think I did a great job for what there was. I mean, there's not only a lot of media to cover, but there's also a good amount of lost media too, and there's a lot of YouTube videos I made even before Spacey came to be. So I had a lot to go through. And while I did think the commentary portion of it was honestly way too long for what it's worth, I still think it was a pretty fun video overall. And I'm very glad that the positive reception of it was so good, because honestly, this was my magnum opus. I mean, it basically came at the perfect time. I was transitioning out of my old life of just school and entering a new life where I get to college. It also came out on my 18th birthday, which, hey, I'm an adult now, so that's pretty great. But it also came out on my channel's 5th anniversary, which was pretty important to me because that basically changed how I functioned as a human being, considering video editing became a major part of my life during that time. it ends up making this video shockingly sentimental in a way, and that honestly improves my opinion of it tenfold. So yeah, even if the video wasn't end up being the best of all time, it will always be like that to me. And yeah, that's all for videos. I really didn't make much this year. Like, sure, there's 2 Spacey extras, one involving myself and my voice, and another featuring my character voice claims, but other than that, we're basically done with videos. Which is a little shocking considering last 2 years have had lots of videos. I mean, look at how many there are. And then compare that to now. Yeah, it's safe to say that burnout thing I mentioned last year kind of came into effect. Especially once I got done with the Wogglebug video, and especially once I got done with this Spacey retrospective. Like, when I got done with the Spacey retrospective, I was so close to ready to move into college, and honestly, that was when video production really started to halt. I just had new responsibilities to do. Also, the fact that progress didn't really carry over since I wasn't done with the script and stuff in time, so oops. Hopefully I'll bring it to college so I can finish editing there, because I still have Vegas on my computer as well as this one. I'm just clarifying that just in case you think my videos are cancelled, because no, they're not. I just had some things to do, and I also had this split between 2 different computers. Hopefully next year I'll be sure to get more videos out. With my progress more streamlined than ever, hopefully the process will become easier than it ever was before. However, something did make up for the lack of videos in 2022, and that was artwork. Yeah, I did produce a number of pieces this year, and honestly, I've been pretty proud of them. I mean, I really do feel like I hit my peak in terms of drawing capabilities, but I did experiment a lot and add some new styles to my repertoire, so it will be incredibly useful in order to add more variety to my style. However, other than the increased variety, I think it's mostly been the same since 2021. I've just gotten more consistent and better at drawing. And honestly, outside of a graphic design class that I'll have in 2023, and hopefully launching more of my character's lore, I think I've set myself up for artwork for quite a while, so don't expect things to change all that much since I'm really hitting my creative stride, and I don't feel like there's much to really change about it. The only other thing now is that I really do find the art community quite annoying, like genuinely pretty annoying, and it's kind of hurt my motivation quite a bit. And it makes me more and more motivated to go back to video editing, so yeah, that's kind of a positive at the end of the day as well. But still, overall, I think I'm in a pretty nice place for art. In fact, I think I'm in a pretty nice place for most things in my life currently. 2022 might have overall been pretty standard, but there was a lot of important changes in my life and important evolutions too. And even if we ignore that, I still don't think a standard year is a bad year. I still think it's a pretty fun year overall. It's a lot better than having a crappy year, that's for sure. Or even a year that felt like nothing, so just feel glad for the years that are average. It'll make you appreciate life a lot more. And that's all I really have to say here. I felt a lot more comfortable in 2022 than I did in 2021, and honestly, I'm a bit excited to see what the new year offers, so I hope y'all have a happy new year, and see y'all next time. Bye!